4 years ago, I started my advertising agency, Karma Media, and last month we've done $130,000 in sales, of which 105K cash has been collected up front, and the remainder contract value will drip over the next 6 months. And the crazy thing that absolutely blew my mind is, I'm not sure if you've seen some of my previous videos, last month for 10 days, my family and we were on an unforgettable trip in Fiji. And during this trip, I was able to sign 4 new clients, which never happened before on our abroad trips, right? And I was just thinking like, whoa, this is just absolutely insane. Tomorrow, for instance, my friend and he's here for 7 days in Melbourne, and we're going to take out the plane and we're going to fly around Melbourne just as a celebration flight to see each other, right? During this time as well, I've been privileged to sign absolute insane clients. ClickFunnels, Gym Launch from Alex Hermosi, and a lot of advertising agency and even coaches, like pretty much all service businesses as well, use the software Go High Level. And that software has also been a client of ours. Plus, in year 3 of this journey, we started doing podcasting, my friend and and with this podcasting approach that we've had some of the biggest names in all Australia on our podcast as well. Jim Penman, who runs Jim's Mowing, it's $1 billion a year franchise chains of like all sort of service businesses. We've had Nick Bell, for instance, as well. Nick Bell is also an agency owner. First Page is the agency that he owns, and he's also currently on Shark Tank in Australia, right? And this has just been kind of like last year as well, right? And this has only been done after 10 podcasts, right? Like I don't even know anything about podcasting, and we've had already like such a huge success. So again, this video is not like a bragging video of like, look how great I am and look all what I all have achieved. It's more of an inspirational for a lot of the agency owners out there that want to build their brand, that want to live at the beach, that want to do all sorts of cool things in their lives. And generally for everyone that want to live life on their term, right? Like that's why I'm doing this video, and I want to share it year after year of all the things that I've learned, all of the knowledge, all of the skills that I've acquired through the process, and help you kind of like get all the knowledge synchronized in one video that took me 4 years of grinding, right? Yes, I record a lot of beautiful videos at the beach where I live. Yes, we go on exotic holidays, and my Instagram is like full of, crazy pictures and stuff. But I literally work every single day, including Saturdays, Sundays, plus on the holidays even as well. I try to do at least 1-2 hours of work just to keep everything maintained, right? So it is not all kind of like super like laying on the beach and just enjoying the money flowing in kind of thing, right? So let's, I guess, start off with the first year, right? Like I always had a very strong desire to be an online entrepreneur. I always wanted to do this, and I cold quitted a very high income career path and a very high income job, and to go all in onto this business. And frankly, I didn't really have that much cash left, as I was running e-com brands on the side. And initially, and this was like years back before, I had some crazy success with e-com, but as the years went by, I was just wasting money. For whatever reason, like each time I launched a product, kept trying, I was just exhausting my bank account, and the moment I quit my high-paying job, I just pretty much had not much left. But I knew that was the only, like I needed to put myself had the wall behind my back. I know what you mean. I had to put that pressure on myself to get out there and start this business, which I've done. And the first 6 months of this business were absolutely atrocious. It was a complete shit show. I had no clients except for a close friend that I helped on a commission-only basis, right? So I was only getting 15% of the total revenue that we were generating with his business, with his coaching business, and a few smaller funnel website building projects that didn't really kind of go anywhere. They just exhausted all my energy, and I was just like, whoa, if this is what it is, I might wrap it up and get a job again, right? Because my grandparents at the time, so I'm from Russia, and my grandparents, they both kind of had dementia and like back problems, so they were like in their 80s. So they needed ongoing care as well. So I was financially supporting them while not having any job, like pretty much like struggling to pay the bills. And that was pretty much the first 6 months. Then I was finally able, between I would say 6 to 10 months, I was able to get my first 3 clients, which were paying us a recurring retainer between $1,000 to $2,000 a month, right? And that in itself was incredible, because I was finally able to cover the rent, groceries and all kind of stuff without bleeding too much cash. But then, out of the nowhere, the business manager collapsed. Like we got banned, and I remember I was like so desperate, and I was just like, dude, it can't be true. And those 3 clients quit, right? So I just had to start all over, and that's when I recorded one of my kind of first videos on the beach of how to recover your account. I was able to recover it and everything. So that was like, I was like, dude, this is just insane. Like I can't believe this. And I was like kind of like falling. That feeling felt as if like I was like falling through like an endless fall. Like you just don't know what's going to happen in the future, right? And thankfully, we were able to kind of recover. We're able to restart our business manager, get the accounts back up and live. Had one client return, another client came back from long trip abroad, and I slowly was able to build up our portfolio back again. And in month 11, which I will still remember this month for the rest of my life, we hit $30,000 in revenue. And at the time I was pretty much doing all the work myself, so it was pretty much all profit, which was honestly like God sent, right? That year felt like slow motion. Every single day was just like, it felt as if it was like 48 hours instead of 24. It was so painful. It was honestly emotionally having that pressure of not being able to pay the bills, not having that consistency. It was really emotionally taxing. And on top of that, I was like, I think this was around month 9 or 10. I was so desperate. I also invested in a coach, which costed $10,000, which was a huge amount for me back then. And I got burned through the program. I got no value from it whatsoever, right? Luckily, I was able to brush off myself, and had that quick success later. But that was pretty much the first year. And I think if you can get through all these crazy challenges and that mental pressure and that constant fear of losing everything and starting all over, if you can do that long enough, like you really build up some mental resilience, which was this first year will serve me for the rest of my life, right? And then after we hit that 30K month, the month after we went, my wife, my father, and we went on our dream trip to Japan, South Korea, and we've seen a little bit of North Korea as well, like kind of like on the border. So during that trip, we were able to sign clients as well, and I was like, wow, this is finally working. This dream lifestyle is manifesting. I'm able to travel. I'm able to sign clients. I'm finally living a remote lifestyle, and that's something that I've dreamt for, frankly, more than 20 years, I guess, since I was in school, really. Right, because I never knew what the career path would be, what I was supposed to do. So it was absolutely incredible, right? In the second year, I felt great. We were living at this place at the beach. I started enjoying my hobbies. I started doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, mixed martial arts. So I picked up a few hobbies. I started kind of networking with friends around the area. Some of my best friends live also at the beach, and got to know some really cool people. And through this year, I made the decision to go for industry leaders as a niche, right? So rather focusing on local businesses like mechanics or any kind of service business and niching down in that space, I thought by myself, you know what, like what if I signed the biggest names in the world? What if I signed ClickFunnels, which is a software I was using back then with Russell Brunson? What if I I wasn't using Go High Level back then, I wasn't even thinking about that, but what if I signed Alex Hormozy? What if I worked with Layla? You know, all these crazy ideas. I was like, wow, this is pretty crazy. And I thought by myself, if I signed the biggest names, I could get everyone underneath them as well, because everyone knows them already. So that was the hypothesis. And I started sending out super hyper personalized cold emails to people like, again, Russell Brunson. At some stage, I even sent out like messages to presidents in different countries. Like I was just like completely, and looking back at it is just, I don't know where I get that courage from, but I'm like, yeah, well, you can find all this information online. Any person in the world, you can find their email, you can find them on Facebook, on their Instagram, you can start DMing people, right? And the first big name that we signed was actually Russell Brunson from ClickFunnels. And that testimonial till this day, we've been working for, you know, for years on several projects, not continuously, but for years we've been kind of like together and working on bits and pieces. But that initial testimonial and result has gotten me so many clients and so many big names later. So I think that's been the biggest learning curve of year 2. Is like, don't be afraid if you're completely a nobody to get out there and tell people like, look, I see this one little thing in your business that doesn't work. I'm happy to fix it, right? It can be as small as an email sequence. It can be as small as tweaking a headline on an ad. It doesn't have to be like this crazy project that you're gonna do for someone, like completely rebuilding their whole business or anything. It can be like a small component, but now on any sales call, anywhere in any conversation, you can say, oh, you're using ClickFunnels, are you using Go High Level? Yeah, that's been our client, and that's something I'm still very proud of. So I'm gonna keep using those names for a very long time. So that was really the biggest learning curve in year 2. In year 3. And this kind of naturally happened. We had a dinner with a potential client, and back then I was like so bad at websites and branding and everything. And our client and the potential prospects, we had a dinner, and he was looking at his phone, checking through a website, and I remember sitting there and watching him on his phone, scrolling through our site. The website is super ugly, like the code was just falling apart while he was looking through the site, and he was like, dude, like what, like you have, he literally said it, like you have to fix your website. And I felt so embarrassed from that moment. That was holy shit, like yeah, I better have to get a better website, and I have to get going with my branding, which I did. And I think we built one of the top agency websites in the world. You can check it out, karmamedia.com.au. It's absolutely stunning. I would definitely think it's one of the better ones, definitely top 1%. So I've been keep polishing on that ever since, because I feel so excited about designing, building websites, and having that perceived value of someone looking at your site and being impressed, right? And I'll give you a few more examples of how this actually worked in my favor later on. So in year 3 as well, I've got a friend, he's been on the channel as well. He was actually like, hey Kost, like you should be doing podcasts. And I was like, you know what, like I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. Like I hate being on camera. In fact, even right now, like I find it very difficult to set it up, record it. It's just like a very, I have to drag myself into it. And especially back then, I was just so, I didn't want to do it. And he kept pushing him. And for that, I'm very thankful, because I kind of learned so much through that process about recording audio, all this kind of stuff, audio, light setup, different camera angles. And I started playing around with 2 iPhones and a soft box and just professional audio from the living room. And that's where I recorded my first few podcasts, including my friend who was third or the fourth guest. So that was the very beginning of the podcast, and I initially didn't really understand what it actually is, right? But then I saw even presidents, right? Like even Donald Trump, he won the election because of the podcast that he's done with Joe Rogan and a few others. Like you see world leaders doing it, like you see everyone is doing it these days, and I find podcasts very entertaining to actually watch and enjoy them. Right, so I kept doing it, even though it gave us no revenue. It felt kind of like a little bit of a waste of time, because it's pretty difficult. Like you need to set everything up, you need to film everything, then you need to like the post-production is an absolute nightmare as well. I still haven't fully figured it out. But yeah, like we just kept going, then we've had our first, I guess, big guest was at our table tennis club, which was like a complete random event. Our table tennis club won Olympic gold medals, right? And I'm the only kind of white guy in the table tennis club. Everyone else is everyone else is Chinese there, right? So they're like really good at table tennis, and they secured Olympic gold medals. So the founder was calling me and asked like, "Hey, Kost, can you come tomorrow?" And I'm like, "Yeah, why is there tomorrow? There's no training, right?" And she's like, no, there's the premiere of Australia, of Victoria, is coming, and she's going to interview the table tennis players and stuff. So I was like, whoa, shit, this is crazy. So we end up interviewing Jacinta Allen, which is the premiere of Victoria, and the table tennis kind of like players and stuff. And it was spectacular, right? Like it wasn't even a podcast, but I would say that was our first guest. And then we end up getting Jim Penman. We send him a cold email. Hey Jim, like, do you want to do a podcast? Like it was literally as simple as that. And I think another big lesson that you can learn from it is that a lot of like the big people that you look up to, I don't know, politicians, like I don't know, like Olympic athletes, celebrities, a lot of people look up to them, but for me they're just like normal people. So that's how I've always treated them, and that's how I try to treat everyone. And I think for those reasons I just approach them in a very normal way. And they're often the kind of like the pretty girl that no one really wants to ask out, right? Jim Penman, like, oh, he's doing $1 billion a year, he has this many businesses, oh, this and that. Right, so for a lot of people, they're like, oh wow, like no, we're not going to do that. But for us, it's like, nah, it's just a normal guy. He built his business. He worked for 40 years, every single day. So, and yeah, we want to understand what he does and how he does that. So just send anyone that you know or that you look up to, cold email or just a DM. Hey, I've got this. I would love to help you with that. Always provide value up front. And you will see some magic will happen in your life. When you knock the door, it will open up, right? And yeah, from there we've had like William Brown. I was like on a business trip to Bali. We've had William Brown as well, very famous entrepreneur in the information kind of marketing space, very successful entrepreneur, very inspiring interview as well. Feel free to check it out. We've had Nick Bell since as well. He's like a shark on Shark Tank here in Australia, so pretty crazy as well. And yeah, that's what I learned in year 3, which was the branding and the I honestly, I wasn't really even thinking about it like, oh, year 3 I'm going to work on this or I'm going to work on that. Like every day I just wanted to improve. I want to get better. I want to improve small aspects in my business. And that's really been the story. Now, what was year 3 and 4 about? I guess with the business as well, how I've grew from year 1 to 3 operationally is initially I started with just being a one-man band doing everything. Right, I was doing the copy, I was writing the landing pages, designing everything, setting everything up, launching the ads, reporting on the ads, doing the sales calls, doing the appointment setting, like every component of the business, even the taxes, even the reconciliation of the line items for each expense, just every detail. And slowly I've been able to outsource the tasks that just took too much time. I found really good specialists in each niche. Copywriters, designers, funnel builders, and they became part of our team. So honestly, it was like a very gradual, very natural process. And at the moment, the only tasks that I'm doing, I'm still involved with the some of the client comms, especially with the bigger important clients, and the sales calls. That's what I've been doing, the founder-led sales. And eventually, if I find really crazy salespeople, I can show them more than 30 recorded sales calls, and they'll be able to copy me, and they'll be able to replicate what I've been doing, and that will be kind of the next step. Right, so that's pretty much the business journey as well. And I mean, honestly, everything has just been life-changing. Then from my personal life, we've been living at the beach for 4 years straight. There's only 4 houses in all Melbourne that are like right beachfront. There are more houses, but they have like they have the road in between the house and the beach. But this is beachfront, like you can't get closer. And we live in one of the 400 out of all Melbourne, and there's over 5 million people, so you can calculate what the chance of that is. And I want to record another video about how to actually live at the beach, how to live your dream life. Or maybe you don't even want to live at the beach, maybe you want to live somewhere else. That's going to be another topic, right? But this has been life-changing. My wife and I, our son was born as well. So that's been a very exciting progress. This was last year. During the last year as well, I was able to acquire a pilot license, which is why we're flying again tomorrow. Every 2 months I have to do some checkups and do some training to keep the license valid. And yeah, that's been another journey in itself. So it's just all in all, I can't recommend doing online, starting your own agency, growing your agency, signing big clients. It's gonna be absolutely life-changing, which is again why I record these videos. So yeah, I hope you found this one valuable. Me raw sharing the experience, what it really feels like to go through all the ups and downs. Got all the podcasts that I've mentioned as well. They're gonna be in the description down below. We got our advertising course as well, so if you feel a bit rusty with Facebook or Google Ads, you can go through it for free, polish your skills, whether you're a complete beginner or you're already, a crazy big agency, 100K plus, $1 million plus a month. You're gonna get value from it. So that's all gonna be in the description down below. And if you've got any questions or anything you'd love to share in the comments, I'd love to see you down below as well. So looking forward to check you out in the next video, and have a fantastic day.